Imagine a single dollar coin sitting quietly in your pocket, yet holding the power to rewrite your entire future. These Sacagawea dollars look ordinary, but hidden among them are rare survivors worth unimaginable money. One careless spend could erase a fortune forever. What if the coin you ignore today could turn you into a millionaire overnight, changing your life before tomorrow even begins in ways no one ever warned you? First up, the Sacagawea dollar from the United States is not just another modern coin. It represents a turning point in American coin history, and the 2001 the issue carries a special place in that story. When this coin was introduced, it was meant to revive the use of dollar coins in everyday life, something the country had struggled with for decades. The image of Sacagawea, the Native American woman who guided Lewis and Clark, was chosen deliberately to honor exploration, resilience, and forgotten contributors to American history. Unlike flashy commemoratives, this coin entered circulation quietly, almost unnoticed by the public, and that quiet entrance is exactly what later made certain examples so mysterious and desirable. Many people spent these coins without a second thought, unaware that among ordinary strikes, a few extraordinary pieces were being born under unique conditions inside the Denver Mint. The year 2001 was a strange moment for U.S. coin production. Dollar coins were being struck in large numbers, but demand was low, which created an unusual environment inside mint facilities. Machines ran, dies were swapped, and quality control was not always consistent because the coins were not seen as high-priority collectibles at the time. In this environment, rare die varieties, striking anomalies, and unusually well-preserved examples slipped through unnoticed. The 2001 Sacagawea dollar exists mostly as a common coin, but collectors know that rarity is not about how many coins were made. It is about how many survive in exceptional or unusual condition. That difference is what transforms a simple dollar into a coin that can command staggering attention and, in some cases, life-changing prices. What truly fuels the legend of the 2001 Sacagawea dollar is condition. Coins that were never touched by circulation, never rubbed by pockets, never stacked loosely with others, and never exposed to moisture or friction, can survive in what collectors call nearly perfect mint state. At this level, every tiny detail matters. The sharpness of Sacagawea's cheek, the texture of her hair, the clarity of the baby's face, and the smooth, glowing surface of the golden alloy. When a coin like this survives untouched, it becomes more than money. It becomes a time capsule. Only a microscopic number of 2001 coins exist at this level, and competition for them can become intense among high-end collectors. Beyond condition, certain 2001 Sacagawea dollars display striking characteristics that separate them from ordinary examples. These can include unusually strong strikes, where the details appear almost sculpted rather than pressed, or subtle die variations that create slightly different textures and shapes in the design. These differences are not obvious to casual eyes, which is why many rare coins sit unnoticed for years. A collector who understands these details sees something entirely different. A coin that tells a hidden story about the moment it was made, the tools that shaped it, and the circumstances that allowed it to survive untouched while millions of others were lost to everyday use. The idea of million-dollar value does not come from fantasy. It comes from how elite collecting works. At the highest level of numismatics, collectors are not buying metal. They are buying the best-known example of a coin. When a single coin stands above all others in quality, preservation, and visual appeal, it becomes irreplaceable. Wealthy collectors compete not because they need the coin, but because they want to own the finest piece of history available. In such cases, price is no longer logical in everyday terms. It becomes emotional, competitive, and symbolic, which is how ordinary-looking coins can suddenly be valued in numbers that sound unbelievable to the average person. The Sacagawea dollar also carries emotional and cultural weight, which quietly increases its appeal. It represents inclusion, recognition, and a shift away from repeating the same historical figures on U.S. coinage. Collectors who focus on modern history see this coin as a marker of change, a moment when American currency tried something new. The 2001 D issue sits early in that experiment, making it especially important. Early year coins in any series often attract more attention because they define the standard for everything that follows. When those early coins survive in extraordinary condition, they become benchmarks that future coins are measured against. Another reason these coins should never be spent casually is that rarity often reveals itself slowly. Many legendary coins were ignored for years before collectors realized what made them special. A coin that seems ordinary today can become extraordinary tomorrow as grading standards evolve and new discoveries are made. Once a coin is spent, scratched, or damaged, its potential is gone forever. This is why experienced collectors always advise caution. A single careless moment can destroy something that took decades to survive. The 2001 Sacagawea dollar, especially in pristine condition, deserves patience, protection, and professional evaluation rather than quick spending. Stories of overnight fortune come from moments when preparation meets recognition. A person who unknowingly holds a rare coin already owns the opportunity. The fortune appears when the coin is properly identified, preserved, and presented to the right audience. In high-end collecting, timing matters as much as rarity. Market interest rises and falls, and when demand peaks, extraordinary coins can leap in value dramatically. This is how a single dollar coin can suddenly be spoken of in the same breath as luxury assets, rare art, or historical documents. It is not magic. It is a result of scarcity meeting desire. The physical survival of a coin is almost miraculous when you think about it. Most coins are handled thousands of times, dropped, scraped, cleaned, or lost. For a 2001 Sacagawea dollar to survive in nearly perfect condition, untouched by human carelessness, is rare by itself. Add striking excellence and visual beauty, and the odds shrink even further. This combination is what collectors chase endlessly, because once such a coin is locked into a private collection, it may not appear on the market again for decades, if ever. The mystique around these coins also comes from how quietly they exist. There is no dramatic announcement when a rare example is discovered. It happens in silence, in a collector's hands, under magnification, with a slow realization that something special is present. That moment is powerful because it transforms an everyday object into a personal treasure. This is why people who inherit, find, or carefully store such coins are often advised not to rush. Rushing benefits buyers, not owners. Knowledge and patience always favor the person holding the coin. From a historical perspective, the Sacagawea dollar bridges old and new America. It uses modern minting technology, but honors early expiration. It is golden in color, but not gold, symbolic rather than luxurious, which makes its rise in value even more fascinating. When something designed to be ordinary becomes extraordinary, it captures imagination. The 2001 D issue stands as proof that history does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers and waits for the right moment to be heard. Collectors often say that the real value of a rare coin is not measured only in money, but in opportunity. Second up, the 2001 Sacagawea dollar carries a quiet power that most people never notice, yet stands as one of the most fascinating modern coins ever produced by the United States. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin belongs to a moment when America tried to reshape its monetary identity by honoring voices long ignored. Sacagawea was not a president, not a general, not a politician, but a young Native American woman whose courage shaped the future of a nation. Placing her image on a circulating dollar was a historical shift, and the 2001 P issue arrived when that shift was still fresh, uncertain, and misunderstood by the public. At the start of the new millennium, the United States was moving fast, but its coins were often overlooked. Dollar coins were minted in huge numbers yet barely used, creating a strange contradiction where abundance masked rarity. The Philadelphia Mint continued striking Sacagawea dollars even as public interest faded, and many coins went straight into storage rather than daily commerce. This environment created a hidden divide between ordinary examples and extraordinary survivors. Among the millions struck, a tiny fraction emerged with exceptional qualities that were never intended, never advertised, and rarely repeated. What makes the 2001 Sacagawea dollar so compelling is not simply when it was made, but how it survived. Coins are fragile witnesses to history, constantly threatened by handling, friction, and neglect. For a coin to remain untouched, perfectly preserved, and visually stunning after leaving the mint is almost an accident of fate. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins at high speed, and only a few emerged with flawless surfaces, razor-sharp details, and a glowing finish that seems frozen in time. These coins were not saved because people knew their future value. They survived because they were forgotten. The design itself adds depth to the coin story. Sacagawea's calm expression, the child on her back, and the open fields around her symbolize guidance, trust, and survival. On exceptional 2001 P examples, these details appear almost alive, with textures and contours that give the coin a sculptural presence. When such clarity exists, the coin becomes more than currency. It becomes a miniature monument. Collectors are drawn to this intensity because it captures a historical moment in its purest form, untouched by circulation or time. Million-dollar discussions around coins like this do not come from fantasy. They emerge from how elite collectors think. At the highest level, collectors seek the single best-known example, not an average piece. When a 2001 P Sacagawea dollar stands alone at the top in condition, eye appeal, and preservation, it becomes irreplaceable. Wealthy collectors are not buying metal. They are competing for ownership of perfection. When two or more collectors want the same unique coin, price stops following logic and begins following desire. The Philadelphia Mint has its own aura within American coinage. As the oldest mint, its output carries historical weight even in modern times. A Sacagawea dollar from this mint, preserved at an elite level, feels like a continuation of a long tradition stretching back centuries. That emotional connection matters deeply to collectors who value legacy as much as rarity. The 2001 P issue sits at the crossroads of old mint heritage and modern design, which quietly strengthens its long-term appeal. Another layer of value comes from how slowly recognition unfolds. Many coins that later shocked the market spent years ignored in drawers, rolls, or collections. Rarity often reveals itself long after production ends. Once collectors realize how few examples truly survived in top condition, the 2001 P Sacagawea dollar is still part of this unfolding story. Coins that remain pristine today may become legendary tomorrow as fewer and fewer comparable examples exist. Spending such a coin casually would mean erasing a rare survival story. Once a coin enters circulation, its future is sealed by scratches, wear, and loss of detail. No amount of money can restore original surfaces once they are damaged. This is why experienced collectors treat coins like this with extreme care. They understand that preservation is power and patience is profit. A single careless moment can destroy something that quietly held extraordinary potential. The idea that a coin could change someone's fortune overnight comes from moments when rarity finally meets recognition. A collector who discovers an exceptional 2001 P Sacagawea dollar already owns the opportunity. The transformation happens when the wider market realizes what that coin represents. Auctions, private sales, and elite collections thrive on discovery. And when a coin enters that world, its value can rise dramatically in a very short time. Modern coins often surprise people because they challenge the belief that only ancient or gold coins matter. The Sacagawea dollar proves that history is not defined by age alone. It is defined by meaning, survival, and uniqueness. A modern coin that captures a cultural shift and survives in perfect condition can be just as powerful as a centuries-old relic. That contrast between youth and importance is what makes this coin so fascinating. There is also a quiet mystery surrounding these coins. No one can fully trace which hand they passed through or how they avoided damage. That mystery adds allure, because collectors love unanswered questions. Each pristine 2001 P Sacagawea dollar feels like a secret rescue from time, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. When something rare carries mystery, its appeal multiplies. From a historical lens, this coin represents an America trying to tell a broader story through its money. It reflects a moment of reflection, recognition, and change. Holding such a coin is like holding a piece of cultural evolution, not just currency. That emotional depth matters, especially to collectors who see coins as storytellers rather than objects. The real danger with coins like this is underestimating them. Many people spend rare coins simply because they look ordinary. History is full of regrets from people who unknowingly let go of something extraordinary. The 2001 P Sacagawea dollar, especially in exceptional condition, deserves respect, research, and protection, not impulse decisions. In the end, the legend of the 2001 P Sacagawea dollar is a reminder that fortune often hides in plain sight. It does not announce itself with noise or glitter. Sometimes it arrives quietly, disguised as something ordinary, waiting for someone patient enough to recognize its true power. In that silence lies the possibility of unimaginable wealth. And for those who understand coins, a single dollar really can hold the strength to change a life overnight. Third up, the 2002 Sacagawea dollar belongs to a chapter of American coin history that many people overlook. Yet that very neglect is what gives this coin its hidden power. By 2002, the Sacagawea dollar was no longer new or exciting to the public, even though it carried one of the most meaningful designs ever placed on U.S. currency. The Denver Mint continued striking these coins quietly, almost in the background of a nation focused on bigger headlines and faster change. Because attention had faded, these coins entered the world without ceremony, and that silence allowed certain extraordinary examples to escape notice, waiting patiently for the moment when their true importance would be understood. This coin represents endurance in more ways than one. Sacagawea herself symbolizes guidance, survival, and strength during uncertain times, and the 2002 issue mirrors that symbolism perfectly. While earlier years received more curiosity, this coin was born into indifference. Many were stored away, some were spent, and others vanished into bulk holdings. Yet among them, a tiny number survived with exceptional clarity and untouched surfaces. These survivors are the heart of today's fascination, because they exist against probability, preserved when countless others were lost to handling and wear. The Denver Mint has always been known for producing strong, bold strikes, and in 2002 that characteristic quietly worked in favor of this coin. When a Sacagawea dollar from this year emerges with unusually sharp detail, glowing surfaces, and no signs of circulation, it becomes something rare even among mint-stay examples. The lines of Sacagawea's face, the texture of her hair, and the gentle contours of the child she carries appear almost sculpted when preserved perfectly. This level of detail transforms a coin into a miniature historical artifact, rather than simple currency. Million-dollar value discussions are born from this level of preservation, not from imagination. At the top of the collecting world, condition is everything. A coin that ranks as the finest known example stands alone, and that isolation creates power. When only one or two coins exist at the highest level, wealthy collectors begin to compete, and competition has no ceiling. In those moments, the coin's face value becomes meaningless, and its price is driven by desire, prestige, and the need to own something no one else can replace. The 2002 Sacagawea dollar also benefits from timing. It was struck during a period when the dollar coin experiment was losing momentum, which meant fewer people saved them intentionally. Coins that are ignored often become the most surprising treasures later, because no one thought to protect them. When a coin survives neglect in perfect condition, its story becomes stronger. Collectors are not just buying the coin, they are buying the miracle of its survival. What makes this coin dangerous to underestimate is how ordinary it appears at first glance. Its golden color tricks people into thinking it is common, and its modern date causes others to dismiss it entirely. History shows that this mindset has destroyed countless fortunes. Some of the most valuable coins today were once spent casually because no one recognized their future importance. The 2002 Sacagawea dollar lives in that same shadow, quietly waiting for recognition. There is also emotional value tied to this coin that numbers cannot explain. It represents a moment when America chose to honor a woman whose contribution shaped the nation's destiny, yet whose story was nearly forgotten. Holding this coin connects the present to that past. For collectors who value meaning as much as rarity, this emotional depth increases desirability and long-term demand, especially when combined with elite preservation. The idea that a single coin could change someone's fortune overnight comes from real moments in collecting history. Discovery changes everything. When a person realizes that what they hold is not ordinary but exceptional, the path ahead transforms instantly. Auctions, private collectors, and institutions pay attention to coins that rise above their peers. Once attention arrives, value can escalate faster than anyone expects, especially when supply is effectively non-existent. The greatest mistake an owner can make is rushing. Coins like the 2002 Sacagawea dollar reward patience, silence, and protection. Scratches cannot be undone, Surfaces cannot be restored, and lost detail can never be recovered. Spending such a coin for face value would not just erase money, it would erase history. True collectors understand that preservation is an investment, and restraint is often the most valuable action of all. Modern coins often shock people because they prove that age alone does not define importance. This coin shows that history is alive, still being written and still capable of producing legends. A modern dollar that captures cultural meaning and survives in flawless condition can stand beside the greatest treasures of the past. That reality challenges assumptions and creates opportunity for those who recognize it early. There is also mystery surrounding these coins that fuels imagination. No one can fully trace how a perfect 2002 Sacagawea dollar avoided damage while millions did not. That unanswered question adds to its allure. Mystery creates stories, and stories create value. When collectors feel they are holding something with an untold journey, attachment deepens and competition intensifies. From a broader historical view, this coin marks a quiet transition in American money. It reflects a nation experimenting with representation, design, and identity. Years later, that experiment itself becomes history, and coins from this period become witnesses to that change. The 2002 issue stands firmly within that narrative, gaining strength as time moves forward rather than losing relevance. The danger is never the coin itself, but ignorance. Many fortunes were lost because people assumed something was ordinary without understanding its context. The 2002 Sacagawea dollar teaches that knowledge is power and patience is protection. Those who pause instead of spending give themselves a chance at something far greater than quick cash. In the end, the story of the 2002 Sacagawea dollar is a reminder that unimaginable wealth does not always arrive wrapped in luxury. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, disguised as something simple, waiting for the moment when someone recognizes its true strength. In that moment, a single dollar can become a symbol of history, rarity, and the very real possibility of fortune changed overnight. Fourth up, the year 2000 marked a symbolic rebirth in American coinage, and the 2000 Sacagawea dollar stands at the center of that moment. As the first year of issue, this coin was never meant to be ordinary, even though it entered circulation quietly. It arrived at the dawn of a new millennium, carrying not just a new date, but a new message about identity, recognition, and forgotten history. The Philadelphia Mint struck these coins as America stepped into an uncertain future, and unknowingly, it created a foundation for one of the most intriguing modern coin stories ever told. This coin was born during a time of optimism and transition. The nation wanted a dollar coin that felt different, meaningful, and modern. Sacagawea was chosen not for power or politics, but for guidance, survival, and contribution. Her image, carrying her child and facing forward, symbolized movement into the future. The 2000 issue was the first physical expression of this idea, making it historically powerful from the very moment it left the mint. First-year coins always carry a special weight because they define everything that follows. What many people do not realize is that first-year coins are often handled the worst. Curiosity leads to touching, stacking, testing, and spending. Very few are set aside with care, especially when they are not immediately popular. The Sacagawea dollar faced public indifference almost instantly, and that indifference became its greatest ally. Among millions of coins, only a microscopic number survived untouched, perfectly preserved, and visually flawless. Those survivors are where unimaginable value begins. The Philadelphia Mint is known for its historical legacy, and when a coin from this mint survives in extraordinary condition, collectors see more than metal. They see continuity, stretching back centuries. A 2000 Sacagawea dollar with pristine surfaces, razor-sharp details, and original luster becomes a time capsule from the moment America crossed into a new era. The glow of the coin, when untouched, feels almost unreal, as if time simply skipped over it. The idea of $1 million value is born from perfection meeting scarcity. In elite collecting circles, it is not enough for a coin to be old or rare. It must be the best. When a single example stands above all others in preservation, clarity, and visual appeal, it becomes untouchable. Collectors at that level are not comparing prices. They are competing for ownership. When competition begins, numbers rise quickly and logic fades. replaced by desire and prestige. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar benefits enormously from being the beginning of the story. First-year coins carry symbolic authority. They are referenced, studied, and remembered more than later issues. When one of these first-year coins survives in near-perfect condition, it becomes a benchmark, a reference point for the entire series. That position alone can elevate a coin into a completely different class of value. What makes this coin dangerous to underestimate is how normal it appears to the untrained eye. Its golden color and modern date cause people to overlook it entirely. History has proven again and again that this exact mindset destroys fortunes. Some of the most valuable coins today were once spent for face value simply because people did not understand what they held. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar lives inside that same risk zone. There is also emotional gravity attached to this coin that numbers cannot fully explain. It represents recognition long overdue. It represents a shift in what America chose to honor on its money. Coins that carry emotional weight tend to age well in the collector world because meaning does not fade. When emotional importance combines with extreme preservation, demand becomes long-lasting and intense. The idea that a coin could change someone's fortune overnight comes from moments when rarity finally meets awareness. Discovery is powerful. The second someone realizes that what they possess is not common, but exceptional, everything changes. That realization opens doors to private collectors, auction houses, and global attention. In those moments, value can multiply faster than anyone expects. Patience is a silent partner of wealth in coin collecting. A coin like this does not reward haste. Cleaning, handling, or spending instantly destroys potential. Original surfaces cannot be recreated, and once damaged, a coin's highest future disappears forever. This is why serious collectors treat preservation like protection of destiny. Silence, care, and restraint often mean the difference between face value and history-changing value. Modern coins surprise people because they challenge the belief that only ancient artifacts matter. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar proves that history is not only behind us, it is constantly forming. A coin tied to a cultural shift, born at the start of a new millennium, and preserved flawlessly can rival treasures far older than itself. That reality shocks people, but it is very real in the collector world. Mystery also fuels the coin's allure. No one can fully trace how a perfect example avoided damage, while millions did not. That unknown journey adds fascination. Collectors love stories that cannot be fully told, because mystery makes ownership feel personal and powerful. A flawless 2000 Sacagawea dollar feels like a secret rescue from time. From a historical perspective, this coin is a marker. It marks a change in design, in representation, and in intent. Years later, that change becomes history itself. Coins that symbolize transitions tend to gain strength as time moves forward, not lose it. The 2000 P issue sits firmly in that category. The greatest threat to a coin like this is ignorance, not age. Many people lose opportunities simply because they assume something is ordinary. Knowledge changes outcomes. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar teaches that restraint can be more valuable than action, and understanding can be more powerful than money. In the end, the legend of the 2000 Sacagawea dollar is about hidden power. It reminds us that unimaginable wealth does not always shine loudly. Sometimes it hides quietly in plain sight, waiting for the moment when someone finally recognizes what it truly is. In that moment, a single dollar can become a symbol of history, rarity, and the real possibility of fortune transformed overnight. Fifth up, the 2000 Sacagawea dollar stands at the very beginning of a bold experiment in American coinage, and its story carries a quiet intensity that most people never notice. Struck at the Denver Mint during the first year of the series, this coin entered circulation at a time when the nation was standing on the edge of a new millennium. America wanted something different on its money, something that spoke of exploration, guidance, and overlooked strength. Sacagawea's image was chosen to carry that message forward, and the 2000 issue became one of the earliest physical symbols of that shift. When this coin was released, curiosity was high, but understanding was low. People handled these new dollar coins freely, stacked them, spent them, and ignored them soon after. The The public never truly embraced the Sacagawea dollar for daily use, and that lack of interest shaped its destiny. Because few people believed these coins mattered, almost none were protected carefully. This reality created a sharp divide between common circulated pieces and a tiny number of exceptional survivors that escaped wear entirely. The Denver Mint has long been known for producing bold, well-defined strikes, and in the year 2000 that strength played a critical role. Some 2,000 Sacagawea dollars emerged with remarkable sharpness, strong details, and vibrant original surfaces. When preserved untouched, the coin's golden tone appears rich and smooth, with Sacagawea's face, hair, and posture standing out clearly. These rare examples feel more like miniature sculptures than everyday money, and collectors instantly recognize that difference. The concept of million-dollar value does not come from the metal or face value of the coin, but from extreme rarity at the highest level of preservation. In elite collecting, the finest known example becomes king. When one 2000 Sacagawea dollar rises above all others in condition and visual appeal, it becomes a singular object. At that point, collectors are no longer buying a dollar coin. They are competing for ownership of something that cannot be replaced. First-year issues always carry a special authority in coin history, and the 2000 Sacagawea dollar benefits strongly from that status. This coin represents the starting line of the entire series. Every Sacagawea dollar that followed traces its roots back to this moment. Collectors value beginnings because they define identity, and when beginning survives in flawless condition, it becomes a reference point for everything else. What makes this coin especially dangerous to underestimate is how ordinary it looks to untrained eyes. Its modern date and widespread production numbers trick people into believing it cannot be special. History proves this belief wrong again and again. Many legendary coins were once dismissed for the same reason, only to later shock the world when their true rarity was understood. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar sits quietly inside that same pattern. There is deep emotional weight embedded in this coin. Sacagawea represents guidance through uncertainty, and this coin was released at a time when the world itself felt uncertain. Holding this coin connects the owner to a moment of transition, not just in American currency, but in national identity. Coins with emotional resonance tend to grow stronger in value over time because meaning does not fade the way trends do. The idea that a single coin could change a person's fortune overnight comes from discovery. Discovery is a spark that transforms potential into reality. The moment a pristine 2000 Sacagawea dollar is recognized for what it truly is, everything changes. That realization can attract serious collectors, private buyers, and powerful interest. In those moments, values can rise quickly, driven by competition rather than logic. Patience is the most valuable tool an owner can have. Coins like this do not reward speed or impulse. Once a coin is scratched, cleaned, or spent, its future is permanently damaged. Original surfaces are sacred in the collector world. This is why experienced collectors protect such coins obsessively. They understand that restraint preserves possibility, and possibility is where fortune lives. Modern coins often surprise people because they challenge outdated ideas about value. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar proves that history is not limited to ancient times. Important moments still happen, and coins struck during those moments become witnesses. When a modern coin captures a cultural shift and survives in flawless condition, it earns a place among far older treasures. There is also mystery surrounding these coins that adds to their power. No one can fully explain how a perfect 2000 Sacagawea dollar avoided damage, while millions did not. That unanswered journey fuels imagination and desire. Collectors are drawn to objects with unknown paths because mystery deepens attachment and drives competition. From a historical point of view, this coin marks a quiet revolution in American design. It broke tradition, introduced a new face, and challenged old habits. Years later, that challenge itself becomes history. Coins that represent change tend to gain strength with time, not lose it, and the 2000 issue sits firmly in that category. The real threat to a coin like this is not circulation alone, but ignorance. Many fortunes are lost simply because people do not pause to understand what they hold. Knowledge changes outcomes. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar teaches that patience, care, and awareness can turn something ordinary into something extraordinary. In the end, the story of the 2000 D Sacagawea dollar is about hidden power. It reminds us that unimaginable wealth does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it waits quietly, disguised as something simple until the right moment arrives. In that moment, a single dollar can become a symbol of history, rarity, and the very real possibility of a life changed overnight.